Siblings. Sometimes they're like a built-in best friend, and sometimes like a built-in enemy. And nowhere is that more prevalent than in cartoons. Through the years, we've gotten some great sibling dynamics like Dipper and Mabel from Gravity Falls, or the Belcher kids from Bob's Burgers. But we've also gotten our fair share of terrible siblings. So, in honor of the holidays being right around the corner and everybody having to spend time with their families, I figured it was the right time to take a look at some of the worst cartoon siblings we've gotten through the years and find out just who's the worst of the worst. So maybe this holiday season you'll appreciate your own siblings just a little bit more. First up, Dee Dee, Dexter's Lab. Now, Dee Dee may be a thorn in Dexter's side throughout most of the show. However, most of the time it seems like she's not really doing it like maliciously or anything. There's definitely some times where she's annoying her brother on purpose, but honestly a lot of the time it just seems like she's being like clumsy and airheaded, which definitely causes some issues for Dexter and gets on his nerves. But at the same time, if I was recording this video and like my brother stepped in and slapped me in the face and shut off my camera, I'd probably be a bit annoyed with him too. So I can see where Dexter's coming from. Like, he has every right to be as irritated and annoyed as he is, but for the most part, I think Dee Dee's pretty harmless. She's just goofing off and making mistakes. It's annoying for sure, but she's not like doing it evilly or anything. So I think I'm gonna go with a C tier. Wirt, Over the Garden Wall. Honestly, at first glance, Wirt's kind of a jerk to his brother. He's selfish and moody and constantly snapping at Greg over basically every little thing. He just seems like perpetually annoyed. But zooming out a bit and taking a look at the bigger picture, when it comes down to it, Wirt's a pretty decent brother. Like at the very end of the show, you have Wirt, who's just this ball of anxiety, risking his own life to save Greg. He really steps up at the end of the series, and I think it more than makes up for him being kind of a dick. And like, sure, he gets annoyed pretty easily, but to be fair, Greg's kind of a lot, so I can't totally fault him for it. When it comes down to it though, Wirt's a pretty good brother, so we're gonna go D tier. Terrence, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. While the main character of the show, Mac, is like this sweet, creative kid, his older brother Terrence is pretty much the complete opposite. I did cover him in my Cartoon Bullies video, but he definitely makes a case for this list. Terrence basically makes it his whole life goal to make Mac miserable. And he's not just like a nuisance to his brother. As we've discussed, he's a straight up bully, beating Mac up, mocking him, and even trying to destroy things at the home just to spite his little brother. No redemptions, no character growth, just kind of always a dick. There's definitely going to be some worse on this list, so I don't think he's quite at the top of it, but he's definitely going on A tier. Sid, Toy Story. Now, even though this guy might be best remembered for torturing toys, his little sister gets it pretty bad too throughout the movie, going through lengths to steal her toys and then mutilate them and use them to scare her in return. That's some psycho shit right there. Granted, he's not like beating her up or anything, but psychologically torturing a little girl isn't really the best look either. I think Sid's probably going to go on B tier. Lars, Rocket Power. I've mentioned Lars a few times here and there too in my videos, and that's because Lars kind of sucks. He's always tormenting and harassing his younger brother Twister and his whole group of friends. Whether he's just ragging on them, mocking them, or, just straight up beating up his brother. There is a few moments here and there where he shows his care for his brother and helps them out, but it doesn't happen maybe more than a couple times. Every other time that he's on screen, complete menace. He's not like super villain level evil or anything, but he's kind of an asshole. I think Lars is going on B tier. Ruby, Max and Ruby. Now, Ruby isn't like a bad sibling per se. She's just a bit of a control freak. She's not like evil or particularly mean even. She's just kind of always trying to control her brother's life. Whatever Max is up to, she automatically dismisses it as wrong or needs to be corrected. When really, by the end of most episodes, Max is usually the one that's right. Her way of being a big sister is less about guidance and more about just controlling the narrative and just the entirety of Max's life. Anytime he wants to do anything or has an idea, she's immediately like, no, you're wrong. Let's do it my way. Not like evil or anything, but just pretty stubborn and dismissive. I think in the end, she definitely does care about her brother, but might care just a little bit more about being in control. I'm thinking a C tier. Caillou. Let's get it out of the way. Caillou sucks. He's irritating as hell to watch, constantly whining until he gets his way and just throwing tantrums over everything. And usually those meltdowns end up spilling over into the life of his little sister Rosie. He doesn't seem to be actively like trying to hurt her or anything, but he definitely makes her life a bit harder just by being the emotional tornado that he is. But there are also moments where he's kind of a dickhead on purpose, blaming his sister for the stuff that he did, getting jealous when she gets any attention. not wanting to share any of his own stuff with her, and just sort of like getting irritated at her own existence at times. Granted, as a father of 2 kids, this is kind of just toddler stuff, so honestly, this might be the parents' fault, but thanks to them, Caillou's going on C tier. Bart, The Simpsons. After the show being around for so many years, I think most people could agree having Bart as a sibling could be pretty tough. Now, his sights aren't like completely set on tormenting his sister Lisa. Instead, pretty much everybody in his vicinity. But due to living with him, Lisa probably gets it more than a lot of other people. Bart just thrives on chaos and causing utter destruction to everyone around him, and a lot of the time, that's Lisa. He can be selfish, manipulative, and just kind of a straight-up bully sometimes too. But there's also been so many episodes throughout the course of the show where Bart and Lisa have a genuinely good relationship. Like, I don't have a single shred of a doubt that Bart cares for and loves his sister. But at the same time, he's a bit of a chaos gremlin. And so she usually kind of takes the brunt of it. Not awful, not great, just Bart. So I think Bart's going to go right down the middle at B tier. DW, Arthur. Insert Arthur fist meme right here. DW is just kind of like a tiny little agent of chaos. She's a constant pain in the ass to Arthur, getting into his business and his things, invading his personal life and personal space basically any chance that she gets. But she can also be kind of mean-spirited at times too. She'll mock her older brother and make fun of him, break his things, insert picture, and even just snitching on him any chance that she gets. If Arthur even like breathes wrong, she's gonna run to her parents and snitch on him like she gets paid for it. Now, I don't think she's like actively plotting his downfall or anything. I think she's just kind of annoying and immature, which does kind of suck for Arthur to have to deal with. Now, I'm not gonna say she deserved getting punched by Arthur when she broke his plane or anything, but he did tell her not to touch it over and over again. This kid isn't like a villain or a bully or anything. Just an immature younger sister that's always getting in her brother's business. I'm gonna go with C tier. Eddie's brother. Ed, and Eddie. Another one for my bullies list, but man, this guy sucks. After constantly building up his older brother through the show as this super cool older sibling, when we finally meet the guy, he just sort of beats the shit out of Eddie in front of all of his friends. And not like a funny, cartoony beating. I mean, it's a little like exaggerated, you know, it's Ed and Eddie. But it's kind of played like we shouldn't be seeing this. And then you get the realization that if he's doing this shit in front of all of Eddie's friends, how bad did Eddie get it at home from him? In the short time that we get with this guy, he is just emotionally and physically abusive right from the get-go. Like, he's so terrible that even Kevin is like, fuck this guy. And Kevin sucks. Absolute piece of shit. S tier. Brad. Kick Buttowski. Brad sucks. This guy's entire personality basically just comes down to bullying his brother. He's pretty much like Terrence Light. Because even though he's always like harassing and bullying his brother, he's kind of pathetic the whole time. He's just mean and jealous for the sake of being mean and jealous. Like, through the show, it feels like he's always lashing out at Kick because Kick's doing all these cool things and Brad just fucking sucks. He's one of those guys where instead of trying to better his own life, he's just going to make others worse and sort of even the playing field that way. Like, his biggest skill set is just complaining loudly. He's annoying and mean, but not particularly like evil or anything, or even on the same level as Terrence, I'd say. Just kind of shitty. So we're going to go B tier. Rigby, regular show. I feel like a lot of the times with the trope of a main character having a sibling show up for an episode, it's usually the sibling that shows up and just kind of sucks. But I like the fact that regular show really flips the script on that and instead made Rigby out to be the shitty sibling. His brother Don shows up and is just immediately liked by everybody except for Rigby. This dude is nice, respectful, successful, and just pretty much everything that Rigby isn't. So Rigby responds by just doubling down and being super shitty to his brother. He treats Don like shit the whole episode, even trying to get his friends to dislike him just purely out of jealousy. By the end of the episode, Rigby does come around and eventually gives Don some sugar, and he kind of realizes that this whole sibling rivalry has just been one-sided the entire time. But for that first little bit there, Rigby's a pretty shitty brother, so I'm thinking he's gonna go on B tier as well. Vicki, Fairly Odd Parents. I mean, come on, it's Vicki. You think the girl that spends all of her free time torturing the neighborhood kids is a good older sister? Come on. Like, Timmy and all the other kids around have to deal with this absolute nightmare for a few hours at a time. Tootie, on the other hand, has to live with that shit. This isn't just a bully, this is like 2 years of therapy sessions in a crop top. Now, Tootie might be a little bit weird and out there too, but the fact that she is not just a complete wreck of a person is kind of an achievement in itself. Anytime this kid is trying to enjoy basically any part of her life, her older sister's there to make sure that doesn't happen. Vicki is cruel, calculated, and just completely evil. And I feel bad for Tootie for having to live with that basically anytime she's not torturing somebody else's kids. Solid S tier, no doubt about it. Shelly, South Park. Shelly can honestly be pretty much as bad as Vicki at times, if not worse. But unlike Vicki, torturing children isn't like her prerogative or anything. More of like a side gig. She's not like constantly setting out to beat the shit out of her brother or anything, but when it happens, it does happen. She is loud, intimidating, aggressive, and violent, and can basically turn into a full-blown psychopath at the drop of a hat. It does feel like she'd basically rather be doing anything else with her life, but the second Stan gets on her nerves, she beats the shit out of him. Gonna go with an A tier. Blackfire, Teen Titans. Now, where some of these siblings torture and torment their other siblings just for the fun of it, Blackfire's pretty much made it her job. She is smart and cruel and narcissistic, and pretty much hell-bent on making Starfire's life just a little bit worse. Or a lot worse. Anytime she shows up, you know she's got something up her sleeve, specifically there to fuck Starfire's day up. Always plotting against her, emotionally manipulating her, or just straight up interfering in her life to cause havoc. She's deceitful and selfish, and will pretty much do anything to come out on top of her sister. She doesn't really see Starfire as a sister, more of an obstacle in her way, but instead of going around the obstacle, she's just going to destroy it. For sure a terrible sibling. I'm kind of towing the line here between S and A tier, but honestly, I think I'm going to go with an S. Let me know in the comments if I'm being too harsh though. Azula, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Some of these siblings are definitely bullies or, pretty mean to their other siblings. Azula's built different. This chick is just purely evil and sadistic, and a lot of that's getting aimed at her brother Zuko. No redeeming moments or qualities, not even a hint of the fact that she cares for her brother. In fact, it's probably just the opposite. She doesn't just want to see her brother's downfall, she wants to be the one that causes it. Like, I don't think we see her enjoy pretty much anything throughout the whole show outside of her brother's suffering. She is constantly trying to ruin his life and reinforce her power over him pretty much any chance that she gets. This isn't a bully, this is a straight up villain. Azula's going on S tier for sure. Sokka, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Another sibling from Avatar, but basically the complete opposite. Like, Sokka can be a bit rough at times, especially at the beginning of the show. He's arrogant, always thinks he's right, and can be a bit of a dick. But even from the very beginning, we see that he does truly care about his sister Katara. He might just barely cross some lines here with the teasing and stuff, but nothing ever too bad. I think a lot of the time he just really takes the whole big brother thing to heart and is trying to look out for her and be a bit of a show off. When I was making this list, I saw him come up a few times and immediately I was like, what are you talking about? I think any bad sibling moments throughout the show are really just him being a bit of a dumbass. Looking at the big picture of it all though, he's a genuinely pretty good brother. Just kind of like a doofus trying to protect his sister. Going on D tier, barely belongs on the list. Karen Griffin, Family Guy. Karen is kind of like the adult programming version of Eddie's brother. Granted, I don't think we hear about her even once before this episode, but the second she shows up, she sucks. Instantly putting down her brother Peter and kind of giving him a taste of his own medicine. She just physically and emotionally humiliates the guy in front of his whole family. Now, Peter's a pretty shitty guy. He's always tormenting his own family and his daughter Meg gets the worst of it. So when she sees this going on, she's kind of like, okay, hell yeah, about time. But Karen just starts taking things too far, beats the shit out of him basically, completely humiliates him, and just kind of gets to the point where even Meg is like, okay, calm down. Peter is a grade A piece of shit, but somehow his sister is even worse. Gonna go on A tier. Cree, codename Kids Next Door. The older sister of number 5, one of the main characters of the show. Cree isn't just one of those siblings that torments her sister at home. Instead, it's basically her day job. A former K&D operative who turned to the evil side after aging out and becoming a teenager. Her new life goal is to destroy the organization she used to be a part of, which her sister's now a main member of. She's mostly antagonistic to her sister and the other kids, but there's been a few times where she's shown some restraint in her mission and put her sister above any goal of ending the K&D. But then there's also plenty of times throughout the show where she puts her sister in danger just to see this operation collapse, even working and conspiring with their biggest nemesis, father. I think Cree's going to sit pretty firmly in the middle too here, so we're going B tier. Candace, Phineas and Ferb. Although the main focus of the show is the two stepbrothers, Phineas and Ferb, there's always another sibling sort of lurking in the shadows, just waiting for the right moment to strike. I'm just kidding, Candace isn't that bad. Like, yeah, she's a narc. She's a snitch. But to be fair, her brothers are kind of always up to dangerous shit. You know, they're surfing tidal waves, creating nanobots, or locating Frankenstein's brain. It's over there. And yeah, maybe she's a bit too eager to see her brothers get caught. But when you kind of take a step back and look at it, she's kind of just protecting them from getting hurt by doing all this dangerous and reckless stuff. Plus, there's plenty of episodes where it shows that she genuinely loves and cares for him. Candace is going on D tier. Not a bad sibling at all. Scar, the Lion King. He murdered his own brother. Top of the list. And there you have it, my ranking of some of the worst siblings that cartoons have to offer. If there's any that I missed or any that you disagreed with, let me know in the comments. And I hope when you see your siblings this holiday season, you're just a bit more grateful for the fact that they're not actively plotting your downfall. At least that you know of. Thanks for watching.